Hello, hello, good evening from a little bit of a chilly South Africa, Durban, South Africa, which is unusual for Durban. Welcome, I'm your host, Priscilla Gendron, and welcome to Psychic Talk. Joining me this week is one of my dearest best friends from Birmingham in the UK, and always happy to get some lippy on at a moment's notice, and join me so we can impart knowledge to others, and we generally have a good chit chat over a cup of tea. Welcome, Suki.
Hello, everybody. For once, it's actually quite sunny in England. So from sunny England, welcome.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're actually warmer than we are at the moment. And for Durban,
which is unusual.
Yeah, it's very unusual for Durban because we're normally quite a warm city, but we're having some really chilly weather at the moment. So I'm in long sleeves and under a blanket.
Yeah, it is. The weather at the moment is very, very unusual across the world. And before we started, we were just talking about all the disruption in what's going on with Mother Earth. And the fires and the flooding and the earthquakes and all this other weird weather that's occurring across the globe. And we were saying that it is a representation of our emotional state as well, because we are very, very connected to Mother Earth, whether we are fully aware of it or not. We have a symbiotic relationship with her. So she is what was that phrase I used yesterday, Priscilla? She's having
a melt out and not a meltdown.
Yes.
We have meltdowns as human beings. She's having a melt out.
Yes.
Which I found was quite a nice phrase to use.
Yeah. So the melting out of everything that she's been carrying for us over generations and generations and generations, she's having a clear out. You could say she's ascending as much as our vibration is ascending as well. So we are going together, and as humans, as spiritual beings, our ascension is very much fraught with a lot of mental anguish. And that was another topic that we wanted to touch upon is the mental health and the well-being and the responsibility that we have to ourselves to ensure that we do prioritize our well-being above other things that are happening in our lives. Exactly,
because we've been through such a traumatic 3 years, or maybe even 4 years, that fact. And it's affected people in very different ways. It was kind of like the whole world was incarcerated in their own minds. And all you can do is, and I always described it as being shown into a room and they close the door and it's pitch black and you turn the light on and everything is mirrors. The floor, the ceiling, the walls, everything. And there's nowhere to go but to see yourself and to see the aspects of yourself. And I think that a lot of people, it got really triggered and affected by that because of their mental health. Because as human beings, we tend to just, I'm fine, big smile on your face, everything's fine. My world's falling apart, but I'm fine.
Yes.
I find the face to the world. And so there was no, I'm fine to the world. We had to now, we couldn't say it to ourselves. So we had to actually stop and deal with all the emotions. And a lot of people didn't have the tools and the equipment that they needed to facilitate their own healing or mental issues, things like that.
And I do believe that many people are still in a state of shock over the events of the last few years, and Gaia, Mother Earth, where do you think our energy went? Where do you think all that depressive fear, anger, and where do you think all that emotion went? She held it for us, and now she is letting it out and and the way that she is demonstrating her distress, we are also feeling that distress. So part of our how we feel uncomfortable in our environment is to do with how Mother Earth is transmuting and releasing all of this energy, while we have to also work on releasing and transmuting that energy as well. And many people don't understand what do we mean by energy? What do we mean by frequency?
Yes.
And energy and frequency is it's just another terminology of the vibration that we are vibrating on. So if somebody is feeling anger, their vibration is being reduced. When somebody is feeling joy, you automatically feel it mentally, physically, and your vibration is risen. So this is very much like everything around us, the earth, the trees, the plants and the animals. We are reflecting off each other, everything that is going on around us. And as I said, many people don't understand this, and they because of their lack of understanding on tempering and looking after their well-being, which again impacts their frequency, they turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they turn to introspective words where they are not very nice to themselves, where they beat themselves up for not doing this and not doing that. And at the end of the day, this all adds to our distress. And sometimes the most simplest thing that we can do to reduce that stress is to go for a walk, is to just simply sit there and do nothing for 5 minutes and just be present in your own energy, and tap into yourself and say, okay, why am I feeling like this? What's going on? How can I help myself to overcome this?
Very much so, because we tend to do, we just tend to either put it in a box and hide it away in the back of the cupboard, or we try and fix it and make a big mess of it. And sometimes all we need to do is just sit with it.
Yes.
Breathe it in and out and just allow it to sit there. And funny enough, sometimes the answers do come. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes the answers do come. Sometimes there doesn't need to be a solution. There just needs to be a quiet time around it.
Yes, there just needs to be a recognition that I'm feeling really sad today. Sometimes it doesn't really have to be such a taxing emotional experience. Why am I feeling sad? Just to overanalyze things. Sometimes we overanalyze things and we get overwhelmed just simply by that. And we lose the focus on, it's okay to be sad sometimes. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have all of these emotions. And I always say better out than in. And when these emotions are coming up like a volcanic eruption, sometimes, instantly we'll feel, well, why did I get so upset about that? Why did I get so angry about that? Because it was such an insignificant thing. And when we erupt, it's not just that trigger that has upset us. It's everything else that we have been holding on to for weeks and years and decades that is coming up as well.
Yes. And, I think that as human beings, we're very good at hiding things. We're very good at putting a face to the world and a face that we have with our family. And so with the years that we've had over the last couple of years, we've had no way to hide from that.
No.
So I think everything bled into each other. And that's what you were saying about Mother Earth and how everything was affected. I mean, if we look at what happened after not going out in public and not driving our cars and not, going outside or things like that, how much clearer the sky was, how much clearer the air was. And sometimes for the first time in, I don't know, what, 40, 50 years, there was no smog in a city. Things like that. So, and if we keep on doing this to the planet, we're doing it to ourselves, number one, because we also inhaling all the toxins and, the anger and everything like that. We're consuming it on a daily basis.
Yeah, we were forced. through the pandemic, a lot of us were forced to sit still and not be so busy, and wrapped up in our own world with blinkers on. We were forced to sit still. And as a result, many people found, why do I keep myself busy so much? Why have I been doing this? Why have I been doing that? And they've started to question a lot. But in order for them to go through that process, and it is like a process of grief, they look at their lives and the decisions that they have made, and they think, well, why did I do that for? Why did I wait so long to do this? Why couldn't I? And this is where the emotions are linked very much, as we say, to the mental health and the environment around us, but also the greater environment around us, which is Mother Earth. It reacts. It's for example, if you've got house plants, your house plants will react to your energy within the home. So people can say, "Oh, I'm just rubbish at I haven't got green fingers. I'm just rubbish at having plants." They don't think that if you are walking around the house in a very depressive state, however that state has originated, and you are in that state constantly, the living entities around you, which are plants and earth, they will reflect that. When you start to move away from that energy and you start to look after your well-being and your mental state, in whatever small steps you take, you will see a reflection back in your home environment, especially with the plants.
Exactly. And I feel like also it's so important if we look at that. I mean, pets, and I can tell when I'm in a bad mood or if I'm depressed or if my son and I argue, how their energies are affected.
Yeah.
You know, and then when we're in a good space, I can see the difference in the pets as well, of how loving they are and excited they are to be around us, you know. So, and it is. And if you take it back to the fact of like everything we say that comes out of our mouths is an energy, is a frequency, and that it attaches itself to the earth, to the furniture, to the clothing, you know, to absolutely everything in our lives. Including the plants. And so, sometimes the plants, you know, they always say, yes, talk to your plants and tell them you don't forget on, they will grow. And even by doing things like that, even to example of water, it can also change the frequency of water. So you're drinking water thinking you're healthy, but I'm sorry, and you're like angry because you're drinking water. You're drinking anger.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, you're impacting yourself in such a negative way, and it is all that. It's all frequency. It is all frequency, and it is all the vibration that we are vibrating at. What we give out, we receive back. And that is such a true statement, that when we are loving to ourselves, and when we are not beating ourselves up, when we are not relying on others to fix us, shall we say, and we are helping ourselves moment by moment, day by day, to get to a better space, not out there but in here, get into a better space there, we can have an incredible effect on other people as well as our environment.
Exactly. And as Leanne was saying, she left a message, she said, it makes so much sense. I've had plants flourish the last few years when usually they died. So exactly. It's what we send out of our mouths and the energy we send out into the universe has a huge effect, because it bounces back, or it goes into, or a residual is left around. You know, because sometimes you think, oh, well, this person came in and they left a presence. But how can somebody leave a presence when there's nothing there? It's that energy that they leave behind.
Yes, very much like when you are in the presence of somebody, and before you meet them, you felt really vibrant, on top of the world, you felt good about yourself. And after 10 minutes of being in their presence, you feel absolutely drained. Why is that? It's not because you don't like their aftershave or their perfume. There is something else going on that we don't see, but we feel. And we can feel the impact of another person's vibration. which is why it's also very important for people to be understanding how to ground themselves simply by walking barefoot on Mother Earth, how to cleanse their energy when they are around people who have had a negative impact on them, and how to protect yourself from that kind of negative energy that would bring us down emotionally and mentally.
Yes, definitely. And I think that, over the last couple of years, we were allowed to sit in silence and reevaluate our energy, how we present ourselves to the world, and maybe even how we present ourselves to ourselves. I know
Yes.
I went through a huge change. I mean, I've been talking to you, and I've mentioned to others as well how much weight I've lost with my condition, and I actually now restarted doing my lives again. I went back and looked at one of my previous ones, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? Who was that person? And so much has happened in a short space of time, of how you have to let go of things, and the energy has to shift. And sometimes you have to verbalize it out, or, they always put a lot of stock in doing chanting and meditation and things like that.
Yeah,
the world.
Sound therapy is an incredible source of therapy. Being mindful of what you bring into your awareness. So if you are sitting there listening to heavy metal and really gyrating music like that's not bringing you a sense of stability and peace. And I'm not saying sit there for 6 hours chanting Om. Find your happy place. Everybody's happiest place is different. Somebody might like this, and somebody else might say, no, that doesn't really work for me. So do what works for you. And sometimes it is a question of trial and error. People may not like sound therapy, but they might like art therapy. They might didn't realize that, oh, actually I am quite creative. And this is the last couple of years what a lot of people have gone back to their natural abilities. And their natural abilities may not have been anything to do with what they were doing prior to lockdown, prior to COVID. They may have been looking for something to enlighten their life, but that time gave people to reflect, to put down unnecessary tools, shall we say, and pick up the ones that really work for them.
Yes, definitely.
And everybody's different.
Exactly. And then Leanne says it's hard to learn to let go of some of these people when you are empathetic, but it's a lesson well learned. Yeah, definitely, Leanne. Sometimes we do, as empaths, both Suki and I are empathic. And you
can't switch up
on everybody's energy, and sometimes you have to put yourself in this little invisible cloak so that you don't draw on people's energy, even like going to the shop or going to fill your car up or things like that.
You can't switch off your empathy because that's who you are. Yes. But what you can do is you can learn to become Teflon coated from the energies of these people. You can still be empathetic towards them, but you are honoring yourself. You are honoring your own space. You are honoring your own energy, and you are looking at a space within where you find your happy space, where you find your calmness. Things around you, situations around you may never change. Certain people around you may never change, but it's not really our responsibility to make them change. Our responsibility is to ourselves.
Exactly. And our reactions to this,
reactions that you have against people around you who you feel that they're not learning anything, they're not understanding, they're not experiencing what I am experiencing, which is absolutely true. They are experiencing their own universe in their own space, and they can only reflect from that and try to move forward and learn from their experiences and their decisions. It is not your duty to change and force a change on them, because that sometimes is the disagreement and the unsettling vibration that is going on between you as an empathetic person trying to help them, and them reflecting back on you and rejecting you in saying, I don't need your help, I'm happy as I am.
Exactly.
And that's hard to accept for an empathetic person, because you just want everybody to be in this happy space and to understand the world from your perspective, and to look at the world through your eyes, and to listen to the world with the ears that you listen to the world with.
Exactly. And also, it's like you see somebody and think, oh, I know exactly what to do to fix this person's issue or problem or, thought pattern. I can fix it so quickly for them, but it's not our job to do that. To be empathetic and say, yes, I know how you feel, or, I can empathize with what you're going through. But it's each person's individual journey that they have to take to find themselves and to find their own answers in life. And, you know that over the last year we've developed this amazing psychic team on the psychic Zoom every month, and I love the fact that we're all different. We're all individuals. We're all different. We all read and impart our spiritual knowledge in a completely different and unique way. I love it, and I don't want anybody to be the same as the other person, because we all approach things that we want to impart to others in our own special, unique way. And that, for me, is my greatest joy in watching that unfold every month. Yeah.
We are like flowers in a wild garden. Yes. And each one of us is unique. Because when you look at a field of wild flowers, none of them are the same. They all take responsibility for their own growth. They may be all in the same space, but they are taking responsibility for their own growth. And as a collective, you see a wild garden, and you may compare it to something that's very manicured and manufactured, and all the flowers look the same, all the roses look the same. Yes. Even in that sense, there's a different vibration.
Exactly.
One doesn't make that garden is not wrong, and this garden, the wild garden, is not wrong. It's how you perceive it, it's how you look at it, and how you interact with it. I mean, my garden looks quite wild most of the time, and I like the organic look.
So is mine. Mine's full of huge camphor trees. So I mean, 12 camphor trees, 6 on either side along the driveway. And so it looks quite amazing when you drive up the driveway, that these beautiful, huge, amazing trees. And quite often I'll have clients come to visit and say, can I go and hug your tree? And I said, yeah, 12 of them, go for it, go and enjoy the tree, enjoy that energy. And it's incredible to watch how people can interact with the earth and really understand it on a deeper level.
A simple interaction can get them from DEFCON 10 down to a vibration of such peace, and it hasn't cost them anything.
All of
that's the thing. A lot of these self-care practices should not be costing you anything.
Exactly.
The songbirds in the morning are free to listen to. They don't charge you. The sun doesn't charge for shining down on us. If you don't make the effort to go out and sit under the sun and allow that energy to enlighten you, then who's responsible for that?
Exactly. We're all responsible for our own healing and our own well-being. Because only we think our thoughts and only we feel our feelings. Nobody thinks and feels them for us. So it's so important that we take personal responsibility for everything we do going forward.
And sometimes
mistakes. And you can put your hand up and you can own your mistakes. But there's a lot of people that will take that and then turn it around, and make it into a negative. Oh, you're doing this all the time, or you're not doing that, you're not this.
And that's the thing, though. It's the should, could, would, will, do's. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I could have done that. And it's self-judgment more than anything else. And when we are judging ourselves, we are stuck. It's like having our feet in quicksand. We're not going to be able to move until we stop judging ourselves. And when we move away from that, self-judgment is a prison, but it is also a mirage, because because we feel we've disappointed people, or people will be upset with us if I try something different. And we talk ourselves out of some of the most beautiful experiences that we could be having, because we don't feel good enough, or we feel that it's going to go against our as a social expectation or a cultural norm, or whatever your restriction is, or whatever you think your restriction is. It's going beyond that, because it is your life at the end of the day. And if you are honoring that gift of life, honor it in the best way possible. Be the best version of yourselves. There's plenty of self-help books out there, and
Yes.
all of them comes down to the nutshell is listen to who you are, connect with your vibration, and honor yourself.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. You
Mm-hmm.
can read 20,000 different books out there that all give you a different way to get to yourself.
Yeah.
So, take the shortcut. You're there already.
Mm.
You just have to turn around. You don't have to go 5,000 miles and then come all the way back. It's that.
And again, it's guilt as well. Oh my gosh, I've got all this to do, and I've got that to do, and the list is never ending. But
Yeah.
if your spirit is saying to you, I just need to sit down, I just need a rest, sit down and have a rest. And then
Very
don't
much
get upset with yourselves for doing that, because you are honoring yourself.
Very much so. I mean, I remember years ago reading the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and the premise of the book is like this guy went, journeyed around the world wherever he went, in order to come back to find himself right back at the beginning.
He found himself in exactly the same spot that he left when he went on this journey. He just wasn't listening to himself.
Exactly. And so Leanne says, I'm watching in the background some ladies because of a phone call. Hopefully see you soon, Suki. Looking forward to catching.
Lovely to see you. Thank you, Leanne. Amazing, wonderful lady, Leanne.
She does sound amazing. Sound amazing. So,
this world is full of amazing people. We so underrate ourselves, and again, it's because of judgments of others and lack of self-awareness, thinking that and comparing ourselves to others. Maybe I should be like that person on TikTok and Snapchat or whatever. No, be yourself. Be the person that sees you first thing in the morning. Who do you see? You see your reflection in the mirror.
Yeah. And it's people's opinions. I was watching the latest America's Got Talent. And there was these twin girls from Australia that are gymnastic dancers, and they on YouTube and on TikTok, and they have got millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of followers. I mean, they're really, really famous around the world. Everybody knows them. And they came on and danced, and they chose a song which was quite a little bit old-fashioned. And the comment from one of the judges was like, oh, you need to, in order to get any kind of fame in this country, you have to be a lot more modern. And you could just see the smirk of these two girls saying, you don't have a clue of how actually famous they really are, Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful example, how one person's perspective on how you should be based on their own expertise or what they think is their expertise can cut a person down. But because those two girls are so connected to themselves and their energy and who they are, Teflon coated, that comment didn't make any difference to their vibration at all.
Smirk on their faces, like he doesn't know who we are really. He's got no clue, And Rick says, yes, to be unique, talented is priceless. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Priceless. Yes, definitely. Just be you, exactly. But it's that is a very loaded question to be statement to just be you, because a lot of people just don't understand who they are.
Yeah, because we spend most of our lives fit into a normal society and think this way, be like that. A woman must be this, and a husband must be like that. The man must do this, and the woman must do that, and everybody's got to fit into a box of society. So we never know really who we are, just to be ourselves, because we always playing a role. You're somebody's daughter, you're somebody's sister, you're somebody's mother, you're somebody's wife, you're somebody's friend, you work for somebody, or so there's all these roles that you take on, and they're not all
and the roles, they are functioning roles of you support your children as a mother, your siblings, and whatever relationship you have, it is a role that you're playing. But the role that you should never play is yourself.
Yes.
That is something that we find difficult to connect to, because we think, oh well, maybe I should be like this and I should be like that. No. Find your compass within and honor yourself daily.
Exactly.
And like I said, it shouldn't have to cost you anything to do that.
Exactly.
Journaling, drawing, pottering around the garden, whether you've got green fingers or not, find that place or that space in the day where you are just communicating with yourself in your own thoughts and you're clearing out the trash.
Exactly.
That's the whole purpose of connecting. You are clearing out the trash in your mind and you're saying, okay, that needs recycling. I don't need that. Why am I thinking that thought? Because it doesn't belong within my frequency, on my energy. So I'm not even going to keep it. Oh, that was a lovely comment that somebody made to me. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to store that because it made my heart smile.
Exactly. And Rick says other people's expectations of me are just that, their expectations.
Yeah, of course.
I'm 100% me and not a diluted version of another. And that's true. We need to be authentic in this world. And I think, and that is especially what's happened over the last couple of years, is that we've had to find out who we truly are and get rid of all the baggage and all the shit that we've carried with us, because there's no more room for it.
Yeah, and a lot of the baggage that we carry, as Rick said, it is expectations of others.
Exactly.
I expect you to do this, and I expect, and when I mean, as a counsellor, when people come to me and they say, yes, but I didn't do this, and I was supposed to do this, and I was supposed to do that by this age, and I failed, and I sit there and say, I must have missed that book on the shelf. Can you tell me where it's written that you should be doing this by this age? And because I'd like to read that.
Yeah.
I probably would burn it if I did get a copy of it, but I'd like to, and they say, well, what do you mean, where's it written? It's that's what I'm expected to do, but where is it written that you're expected to do this? Where are all these things that you feel that you haven't achieved and you've let people down and this? No, you haven't let anybody down other than letting yourself down for putting yourself in that position of trying to meet everybody's expectations, and everybody's expectation of you will be different.
Very much so. There's going to be some people that are going to think the world of you, and other people that are going to, talk behind your back. Other people are going to completely block you out of their lives, and you have to accept it. I mean, I was just talking to somebody this week. She has got a sister, and they've always had a bit of a tenuous relationship, and then both her parents passed away. First her dad passed, and then her mum. And so she was kind of like, now she had always looked after her parents, and now she's on her own. You know what I mean? They don't live in the same city, and she thought, well, now we can be the kind of sisters we need to be. And in a conversation with her, sister was completely disrespectful and rude to her, and she put her foot down for the first time in years. And her sister said, well, have a good laugh, and put the phone down and blocked her. And I just thought, well,
excuse me.
I was so incredibly proud of her for having the courage to say no more. You've stepped over the line. And for me, it was the greatest courage in the world for her to do that. So for me, I blessed her, and I said to her, finally, you're actually standing in your truth of who you are.
Yeah.
And it's not your issue to deal with, it's her issue. You know, it's the other person's issue. So
yeah, we take on so much responsibility for other people, and that responsibility weighs us down. And when we decide, when we realize that I'm responsible for me, and we offload that responsibility back to the people around us, that is such a state of feeling the freedom. It doesn't happen overnight, but as soon as you start to acknowledge that actually I am important, why am I not using my time to look after me, to honor my needs? Because
exactly,
I'm looking after everybody else. Am I not important as well?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think we can really draw from our own life experiences. Certainly the career we're both in, being psychic mediums and healers, hasn't been constructed from the life we were born into. You know, come from an Indian background, and I come from a Roman Catholic French background. That wasn't always conducive to the work that we do.
No.
And I remember being called the little witch of the family, you know, up until, you know, quite recently. And eventually I just thought, you know what, I actually don't care anymore what people think. But let it be a problem that needs resolving. They're on the phone to me.
Yeah, your phone's off the hook, ringing off the hook.
And I'm like, come on, it's double standards. You can't have it both ways. You know, you either want to be on my side or support me, or you don't have to believe in what I do, but you have to at least acknowledge that I'm following my own truth.
Yeah, and that is about supporting yourself, having the courage to say, I'm okay, I can do this. I don't need to be lauded or given false compliments from people who will very much turn around, and as soon as they're out the door going, well, you know, with the negative gossip. It's not required in my life. It's not required in anybody's life. And as soon as you get to that realization, you think, why didn't I do this before? Because it's so liberating emotionally and mentally when you feel the only person I need to keep happy is myself. That's not that is not from a selfish perspective. That is from a place that when we are giving to ourselves, we have so much abundance to give to everybody else.
Exactly. Because before we're so busy emptying our tank, then we turn around and then we're empty. So, and people think, oh, but you're being so selfish. You're just doing this. And I'm like, no, I'm actually honoring myself. And I tell a lot of my clients that do exactly the same thing. I said, this is a selfish year for you. Just think of yourself. Me year.
Selfless. Yeah, I always say this is a selfless year for you, because you have been selfish in the sense of you have not been looking after you. So you have been completely selfish there. Yeah. So you have to start to be selfless and say, okay, I'm going to spend some time this week doing something that I would like to do, or brings me joy, or gives me time just to have some headspace with me without interference.
Exactly.
Whatever you do, however you get to that place, make it consistent. Honor yourself daily, weekly, monthly. I will go out and, you know, go to the pictures on my own, and not that I haven't got friends. I just like my own company on occasions.
Yes.
I'll have a meal. And it doesn't bother me at all because
Yeah.
I'm having a date with myself.
Exactly. I used to often do that.
Mm. You know,
It is.
if you are intolerant of your own thoughts and your own emotions, you have to ask yourself, what's going on?
Exactly.
Why can I not be in my own space, in my own head, and not drive myself up the wall or feel uncomfortable or feel anxious? Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
What's in there that is unnecessary and that needs to be cleared?
Very much so.
And when I work with clients, I always say to them, you know, you're sitting in a beautiful garden and you feel like you've spent a lot of effort in that garden. The garden is representative of your life. Then all of a sudden, all you see is weeds growing,
Yeah.
and you're digging the weeds up. And the quicker you are digging them up, the quicker they are growing. Because
Exactly.
you know that you may think you know where the root of that issue is, but you've got
Yes.
to go further and find when was that seed planted. Because the
Exactly.
thing with weeds is, no matter how many times you dig them up, until you get to the seed of where that weed keeps coming up, it's going to keep coming up.
Exactly. You know, everything that happens to us in our lives, at no matter what time in our lives, it could be from
Mm,
1 year old to 20 years old to 5 years old,
yeah,
it leaves an imprint. And so
of course
every
it
time we
does.
try to achieve things in the future, it kind of
Mm,
like makes a little boomerang effect back to that point.
yeah,
And so you're right. It's about going to find that seed that was
mm,
planted when you were 5 years old, or told that you're stupid,
yeah,
or told that you're ugly, or,
yeah.
you know, you never achieve anything. And every
Mm,
time you try to go past that, you keep bouncing back to that.
mm. Yeah, and that seed can be thrown by somebody else, like you said, in a very casual way or a haphazard way, or with anger, or however that seed is thrown at us. uh, You know, and it grows in our garden. We have to take responsibility at some point to say, no, I'm not having that in my space anymore. I'm going to have a clear out, and I'm going to clear this garden properly, and that takes
Yeah,
time.
it definitely does.
Mm.
So what sort of tips could you give people to help to cleanse all the negativity? Because that's quite also a very loaded question. Cleanse the
Oh yeah.
negativity.
Okay. If you are feeling quite overwhelmed by the heaviness around you, um the things that you can do is, like I said earlier on, is go for a walk. Take some time out for yourself. If you've got a list of 100 things that you need to do that day and you're not even on it, that list is no good to you.
Yeah.
Watch a movie. If you've got the choice, sometimes if I got a choice of hoovering the downstairs and cleaning up and whatever, and I fancy watching, and I'm feeling a little bit down, and I thought, I know what will cheer me up. I'm going to watch a happy movie, something that I know always makes me feel good.
Yes.
Those hour or so that I spend watching that movie, it makes such a difference, and I whiz around the housework in no time. Whereas if I hadn't have done that, taken that time out to self-care, taken that time to acknowledge I need a bit of time out, and I need to um, understand why am I feeling like this, you are spreading that negative vibration around your house and it's settling like dust everywhere.
Exactly.
But if you take that time, that moment, however long you need to take, even if it's the kids have gone off to school and you know it's been a mad rush, the best thing a woman can do, or a man, if they are sending their kids to school, is when they close the door, is make yourself a cup of tea, coffee, whatever your drink is, and sit down and spend 10 minutes doing nothing, just listening to the noises around you, listening to your own heartbeat, and listening to and sitting in your own space. That is so energizing. Negative energy again is cleansing your space, and you can do that in multiple ways. Having a salt bath, like I said, going for a walk, um, doing something uplifting that will break up that hold that negative energy has on you.
Yeah, and that's so important. To do all these things, or even if it's just one of those things, or just, as you say, listening to some music or putting on your favorite movie and things like that. That really does, it shifts the energy and shifts how you're feeling.
One of the things I always like to do is children's books. If when somebody says, well, sit there and read a book, and you think, oh, it's like 400 pages long, I haven't got time to read that. Get a children's book out and read that.
Yes.
It's like, what, 10, 12 pages? And you see all these lovely colours, and children's books are mostly very uplifting and quite, very to the point, and you have this certain understanding. They're always about taking care of other people, being nice to yourself and being nice to other people, and having a good perspective of yourself. A children's book, pick it up and just read a kid's book. It won't take you more than 10 minutes.
I used to, when my son was very little, I used to love to do story time with him, and he had hundreds of books. We just really collected a lot of storybooks, and he loved it. He'd have like 3 or 4 books, or sometimes 6 books, and we would sit and just really read them, and each of them had this beautiful little simple story and lesson that can be learned from it. One of my favorite ones is called Because I Love You, and it's about a mother that rocks her child back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then as the child gets older, then she goes into the room and she picks him up and she rocks him back and forth, and she says a little verse. Then he becomes a teenager, and she'd go in his room and she'd hold him and say the verse, and then he grows up and leaves home, and then she has to get in a car, drive her car to her son's house, put the ladder against his window and climb up and climb and hold him and rock him back and forth. And then one day she was too old to do it, and she was lying there, and her son came into the room and he held her and rocked her back and forth. So it feels like it's that whole story. I thought, mother climbing up the ladder, that's a little bit like, I don't know. When my grandchildren were a little bit younger, I started a verbal story with them about Danny the dragon, who lived in Amethyst Cave, and he had a farting problem, and they would just be laughing their heads off, and this story just developed over the years, and every time they go, no, we want to hear about Danny the dragon, what's he been up to? Got mind like a sieve. I'm thinking, oh, he went to see Peter the baker, and my grandson will go, I thought his name was David. I'm like, oh, was it? I was like, oh, he changed it by Deed. You just make it up as you go along, Exactly. But the point I'm trying to make is it's that time that you spend with the people that you love the most, and children are so forgiving and pure, and the vibration of love that you have from them in doing even the simplest things with them, that will break any negative mindset that you have in an instant. Exactly. And Linda's saying frequency music, coffee with a close friend, talking to my plants, sitting in the sun and knitting another beanie. Yeah, exactly. It's just the things that are, fulfill the soul and keep the soul where it is. And I just wanted to say, can we do like a little sort of 5-minute meditation and see where it leads us?
We can do.
I know I always put you on the spot, but
You don't put me on the spot. Let me see if I've got my singing bowl to hand. Oh.
So if everybody wants to take a nice deep breath and sit back in their chairs and relax, and Suki's going to just bring out her singing bowl. And that's a beautiful, beautiful singing bowl.
Oh, this is the third eye one that I picked up. And
wonderful.
yeah, there's about 8 of them on the shelf behind me. So the first one that came to hand was the third eye one. Okay.
Wow.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, needs a bit of warming up. Okay. Right. Let's get our vibration and let us hold hands energetically. So what I would like you to do is close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. As you're breathing in, allow that energy, that frequency around you of Mother Earth, the pure breath of the divine, to go through you to every point of your body, from the tips of your head to the tips of your fingers. And at your natural place, as you breathe out the stresses of the day. Breathe out anything that has made you feel a little bit down. Breathing in this beautiful, pure white light. And as you breathe out, letting go of the stresses of the day. Breathing in and breathing out. Allow yourself to drift into your heart space, however that might look. It could be a favorite room. It could be a favorite spot out by the sea, or in the park, or in the woodlands. As you continue to breathe in and you're breathing out, and your body is relaxing, imagine that you are in this bubble of light that glows from your heart, as bright as the rays of the sun. As it grows from your heart space, bigger and bigger and bigger, as it comes across your chest, past your shoulders, over your head, this beautiful golden light from your heart envelops you in a state of peace and harmony and oneness. Feel your connection through this light to the heavens, the stars, the earth, with all its elements. Feel the power within that energy. As we push out any negative vibrations that serve us no purpose, because we are simply love. Our thought is love. Our vibration is love. Our very existence, with each breath that we take, is love. Breathing in and breathing out. This sense of peace and tranquility. When you are ready, bring your awareness back to the moment and the place that you sit. Allow this energy to sit with you, and whenever you need its love, remember, it is simply in your heart. Call upon it when you need to. And when you are ready, open your eyes, take a deep breath in and release.
That was amazing. Thank you, Suki. As you started and you were doing the bowl, I could feel the energy was just shooting from my ears all the way into the third eye and was causing my, and I almost was having to do this and like scratch my head. And I thought, no, don't scratch your head. Because I could feel it sort of working in the third eye energy. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope everybody else is back.
Yes, I hope everybody's back.
It's a beautiful energy to sit in. And the question that was asked earlier about the negative energy, how long did that take to bring that vibration into the light and to push anything out that doesn't serve us?
Exactly.
Didn't cost you anything
No.
other than a few moments of your time.
Yeah. And it's got a huge impact on the rest of your time. Just those few moments.
Yeah, plug yourself in whenever you need to.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Well, I feel like we need to make our closing chats because I think it's just such a way to ease some of the energy. So is there sort of any final words that you'd like to impart to us, Suki?
I think honor yourself. I always say to my clients, how do you honor yourself every day? Look after your well-being and realize that you are important. It's not an accident that you are here in this moment in time on earth. We all serve a purpose. And a lot of the time, by us simply being here, that's simply what our purpose is.
Very much so.
And to keep your vibration as enlightened as possible in whichever way works for you. It works for you.
That's the most important thing, is that we are true to ourselves at the end of the day. Because the world is changing and evolving, and as enlightened beings, we are higher up the ladder than a lot of people who are coming behind us. So it's also able to shine the way for them, so it makes it easier for them to make the transition.
Yes, because we are the lighthouses. We are the lighthouses for many people out there, and we have to make sure that we keep that light burning as bright as possible.
Yes, definitely. So that's what's important, and we send much of love and light of ourselves out to everybody that was joining us tonight, as well as people that will in the future who will watch this again at their own leisure. And I want to thank Suki so much for joining me today. It's always such
thank you so much.
to sit and co-create fine with Suki here. So if anyone wants to contact Suki and have a session with her, you can email her at blue.orchid15@hotmail.com. She'd love to hear from you, and she'll be joining us at the end of the month on our psychic Zoom. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, thank you so much, Priscilla. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. And, you know, you are honestly such an amazing person. And it is such an honor to be, you know, to know you. And, you know, love you loads.
Thank you. And thank you, beautiful souls. Thank you, Fraser. We love you too, to you and Lena. We send you lots of love across the seas of Mexico. We're missing you guys terribly, but we know that you also are living your dreams, and that's what's important. You follow your path.
Yeah.
So
Have faith and follow your path.
Yeah, big thank you from me. And
thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us, everybody, and thank you, Suki. Much love to
You're
everybody.
welcome.
Good night.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
Good night.